What's happening, guys? Thank you for joining me today. Today's going to be a little bit different. Instead of me chatting to you about what product is in focus this week or what I've been using, we're going to be chatting about products in general, and more importantly, when to use what to use. So products come in a certain order. This is usually called layering. Layering products is simply starting from the base and working upwards to your desired effect. It means that we should know exactly what style we're going to go for before we start styling the hair in order to get there the quickest and with the best way. Exactly like planning your route in a car journey, same thing. Following a step-by-step with your products will give you the best result the quickest way. So here, by the plant, which is always here, the beautiful peace lily that we have, I have an array of products. First off, I've got to say, none of the brands that I'm showing you have given me any money. There's no anything promotion. These are just products that I have and I use often. I have box loads of products from various shows and different groups and companies and stuff that I've bought over the years. So this isn't about necessarily what product or what product is right and what's wrong. This is genuinely, like I say, when to use it. So first off, the number one, the obvious, the one we all love and need, shampoo. To start off your style with a clean, even base is key. I know a lot of people say that if you're going to put your hair up, you shouldn't wash it the day before. But if you're using the right products, that's not always the case, and that's not necessarily true anymore. And we're going to come on to why that is a little bit later. So shampoos come in countless different varieties. In fact, if you need any more guidance on shampoos, click up here. I created a video on choosing your right shampoo. And so if you need any advice and guidance on your own shampoo, then click up here, and that'll give you as much information as you need to then go out and purchase your own. But basically, for today, it's base one. It's the one we all start off with, nice clean shampoo. Second is your conditioner. It's another shower product. You're gonna pop that into your hair, get that porosity nice and even. It's gonna heat protect, it's gonna keep your hair clean because it'll seal off the hair away from dirt and environmental damage, and it's gonna give you so much more shine and luster. People with fine hair tend to avoid conditioners because they think it weighs it down. With modern technology and with modern products, that's not necessarily true anymore. There are so many light conditioners that rinse out really easily, that can just smooth off the hair, and they'll give you a perfect base. So they'll be able to give you a nice, longer lasting finish and that beautiful shine. So they're your two shower ones. You all know about them. Like I say, shampoo video, there's a shampoo video, and there will be a conditioner video coming up, how to choose your own conditioners, coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. But now, the fun part, the treasure trove, the one that everybody has, the styling products. We're gonna start off with the first group, leave-in conditioners. Leave-in conditioners are things I've spoken about before. I've even done a review on this one. Catch that up here if you want to. This is the Living Proof Restore Perfecting Spray. But whichever one you choose, they basically come in a group of forms. They come in a super, super light, all over spray, which mixes in pretty much like water, but it'll have a little bit, it'll be a better pH for the hair. It'll have a little bit more conditioning, and it'll give you a little bit more slip to comb through and even out the porosity, sealing that hair off. They can come in a little bit stronger, which is still a spray, but a bit more directional. By directional, I mean which way it's pointing. Does it give like a global application or a spray? Usually you can tell whether something's strong or light. Things that are stronger will give a more directional spray, because you need to be a bit more precise with it. Things that are global will give you an all-over coverage, and they're usually quite light, plus that mist is very light as well. So ones like this that give you a bit more directional, they're a little bit heavier, they may have UV protectants in it, they may be a heat protectant, they're probably gonna be a little bit heavier, so if you have a tiny bit drier hair, or if you have colored hair, these are great for that. And lastly, you have the creams. Creams come in various different forms and textures. This one is actually quite a light gel kind of cream. I call it cream, it's pretty much a gel, but it's obviously thicker than the sprays. So what you do is you put this in exactly the same, smoothing down from roots to ends throughout your hair, and that's just gonna help you brush it through. I've just put it in dry hair, you put it in wet hair normally. It makes no difference, but it helps you obviously comb it through, dry it, and that's the stage that you should do first. You can also get much thicker ones of these, they're for even more dehydrated hair. They'll have things like coconut oil in them, jojoba oil, a mixture of oils that will give it a better shine, a better slip. But basically, their two reasons are help you brush through or help you comb through when it's wet and tangly, and to give you an even base, so when you dry it, it's not so dehydrated on the ends and wet at the roots. It gives you a nice even coverage, so when you're styling your hair or when you're even leaving your hair, you get a great finish. So I don't want to go through every single product and every single one, I just want to group them all together, because otherwise this would be a 15-hour video and no one wants to sit through and be like, and this spray does this. No one wants that. So I'm going to group them all together for your comfort and for mine. So next, we have structure products. Now, structure products serve a purpose. Basically, they're to put in for you to get the best out of whatever you're going to do. So let me explain a little bit further. If you want volume, you want a volumized blow dry, if you want to add a little bit of body to the hair, you'd use something like a thickening spray. Now, do not fall for the marketing here. Thickening spray does not thicken up your hair. It does not increase the amount, it does not increase the density. By thickening, they mean volumizing. It's just another marketing term. Loads of people were using volumizing spray. So a few people use thickening spray. Loads got sold, so they changed it over to that. These various forms, anyway, whatever it is, does the same thing, gives you a bit of grip. So sometimes they'll have things like protein in, or they'll have a drying agent. Doesn't dry out the hair, but it gets rid of the grease. So what they'll do is give you a bit of grip on the brush, so when you're drying it through or when you're drying it upside down, it will just give it a bit of hold. Usually these are heat activated, so if I sprayed loads of this into my hair, you wouldn't see any body at all. It wouldn't make much of a difference. You'd be able to tell by the shininess of it, because it would have product in it, as to me, which is natural hair. But you wouldn't see any more volume, it wouldn't be thicker, as it were. So these are heat activated. Once I dried it, then you'd start seeing the difference. Then you'd see it kind of plump up a little bit as the product's working, depending on what their active ingredient is. Like I say, countless products, countless active ingredients. Some of them use silk proteins, some of them use like a wheat protein. There's usually some kind of protein in there to give it some strength. If you want a stronger version, obviously a cream. Cream is always stronger than a spray. General rule. If you can stick by that, you're probably golden. So same with the leave-in conditioners, same with what I'm going to tell you about finishing products later. Structure products, exactly the same. This will give you a much stronger grip, which means if you're blow drying, it's going to give you really good finish to it, really good volumizing. If you're setting, it's going to give you a really good big shape that's going to last a lot longer than a spray. However, with every pro there is a con. These will you will feel it in your hair. You'll either feel it in your scalp of being a bit kind of tacky, or when you put your hands through your hair, it won't flow as easily as it would if something with a spray. Just because they're heavier, they're more concentrated, they're stronger. Which means when you come to use it, I would suggest using them sparingly. If you're a hairdresser watching this, I use tons of stuff like that if I want it set in and want it to hold all day. But I know that's for a shoot. If I was using it on a client, I wouldn't dream of using anywhere near as much, because they'd be like, dude, my hair feels tacky, feels horrible. So it depends what look you're going for. If you want to look for a wedding, for example, it's got to stay up all night and she's going to be dancing, she's going to be looking great, you need it to stay, then use more products or use a stronger product. Don't be afraid to use your products. But if she's walking to the cafe, walking home, she wants to look nice, feel nice, but likes putting her hands through her hair, use lighter products, not too much. So again, it's our roadmap. We've got to know where we're going before we start using something. Don't get stuck into the habit of using the same thing just because you bought it ages ago or you used it and you like it. Every product does a different thing. So you shouldn't just be using one spray, for example, for a multitude of different looks. That's not how it works, unfortunately. That being said, I have done that. I've fallen in love with the product and I've used it for loads of clients, getting the nice finish in there just because you fall in love with something for a while, which is not a bad thing. And I'm not saying you need to go out and buy tons and tons and tons of products, but think about what you're using and why you're using it. If you want a look to last all day and to last longer, then probably just spray a bit more of this in than you would do if you wanted just to dry it off and you needed a heat protector. Again, know the end goal before we put the preps in. Next up, fall in between structure and conditioning it's curl creams or curl sprays. The reason why they fall in between is usually curly hair is drier, so they'll have a lot of conditioning agents in it. Depending on whether you have coily hair or drier hair, you'll probably need something with like an oil in it, like a coconut oil or something quite strong and nourishing. Or if you have very light hair, you'd probably need just a little bit of conditioning. But either way, they'll probably have a conditioning agent in them. But they'll also have a structure product. They'll also have something that gives it the hold and grip to give you a nice uniformed curl. Now, curl creams are a super personal product. The reason why is most curly hair is different. Like I was saying in the what hair type you have, some people have curly hair one place than they do in another, but also because people have tighter curls and people have looser curls, and people want different things from their curls. Some people like it crunchy and tight and looking very pristine. Other people like it kind of messy and scruffy and just kind of drag through a hedge backwards. Both look great, both look amazing, but you'll need a different product to get that different finish. The other reason why they're very personal and they're different from a structure product is you probably won't be blow drying with them. You probably won't be pulling them. These are designed to manipulate the hair, to move it, to change it, to put it up, to dry it, to even rough drying it. You're changing the hair texture, you're changing what it's doing. Whereas a curl cream is designed to work with what you naturally have, but build on it, to give it a tiny bit of a help, to give it a bit more condition, to give it a bit more of a hold. So in that respect, they're very personal to you. And they also, curly haired people are probably the most loyal when it comes to products. If they know something works, they stay with it forever. I would avoid against that because your hair changes over time, changes colour, changes texture. Everything can change your hair from stress, hormones, diet. There's so many different variations that it's probably good to change it up now and then. But if you find something that works for you, amazing. Don't think if you have straighter or smoother hair that a curl cream is going to make your hair curlier, because more often than not they don't. What you would need is a structure product, because again, you're manipulating the hair. You're changing the hair from straight to curly. So you would need a structure product. You would need something to help it manipulate, to help hold it, to give it a different light, to give it a different feel. What a curl cream will do is enhance what is already there. So even though they're called curl creams, they're for curly hair. They're not for making hair curly. Next up, let's chat about waxes. I picked this one because it's fantastic. Like I say, Dax haven't paid me for using this, but I just love it. It's called High and Tight. It's very personalised because it's very greasy and very gives a cool shine to it. Try and use it on, I've used it on everything from ponytails to tidying up people's edges to guys with short crops. It has been a very useful tool and it was only £2. Waxes, there are thousands of them. Some are stronger, like a clay or a paste. They're going to give you a much drier texture. Things like matte paste, you have to try them out because some are more matte than others. Matte paste only really works from hair till it's about this length. In my experience, it only works on hair that's about this long. After that, it starts weighing itself down because it's a very heavy product. If you feel it in your hands, it's quite heavy. So it's not going to give it the hold that it needs to. Again, you'd need something like a structure product to get it in there. Then the wax helps. Don't rely just on a wax because a wax will only hold it for so long. So again, we need to go through these stages. So if you were a guy and you wanted kind of that messy, normal guy's hair look, then shampoo, condition, you could miss out the third stage of leave-in conditioner, structure product, then wax. That's why this is number 4, because you have to do one to get the other. To get the best out of wax, you need a structure product. It's where a lot of people go wrong. I say guys' hair, it could be girls with short hair, it could be ponytails, it could be anything. A lot of people use wax for various different reasons. But to get the best out of it, you need to follow the stages still. Then you have gels and pastes and various different creams. They'll kind of tell you what they are on the tin. Right now, this tells me it's awesome shine, so it's gonna give me a great shine. I know it's gonna give me a great finish. It's also called High and Tight, so I know who it's for. I know what it does. But I wouldn't think of using something like this unless I'd followed the steps. So 5A and 5B are both your finishing products, but they're a little bit different, so I'm gonna break them down into 2 separate categories. 5A is your serums. These are your silicone-based, shiny, oil-based products. They're going to give you a great slip, great shine, great luster to it. They don't give any hold. So if you want something that's like an updo, you obviously wouldn't be putting a serum in it. This is for people with wavy, curly hair or straight hair that you've dried in or haven't dried in. Pop some of this in the end and it's just going to seal it, give it a nice finish. I also wrote an ebook about swim proofing your hair, and serums is my #1 for swim proofing your hair. So check that out. So if you are a swimmer, check that out, give it a read over, because that will really help the hair condition if you need to. A lighter version of a serum, so say for your brides or your updos or anything that you don't want to weigh it down too much with a serum, is more like your shine sprays, your defrizzers. These give the same shine, give the same glossy effect. They have like a mirrored effect on the hair, but they'll probably contain things like alcohol, so it'll evaporate off the hair. They won't be as heavy because they're obviously a lot lighter. They mist throughout the hair, so they don't give like a complete directional. Obviously, if you're using a serum, it's very directional as to where it is. It's kind of very on. Whereas this, you could be either right next to it if you want a very shiny part or a very wet look part, or you could be a meter away if you just need to dust it. So it'll give you a very different finish, even though they're both in the shiny finishing products category. 5B, on the other hand, is the opposite. These are matte products. So these are bodybuilders, they are dry shampoos, they're things that are designed to give you a bit of body, bit of grit, talcum powder kind of feel to them. You see them a lot as like after volume, they give a lot of volume. You see them a lot as the day after. They usually have time with the grease, dry that out and kind of expand over it, almost like a silica gel kind of feel to it. So it gives you a great body, great look, but don't touch kind of product. Good feel, big body. Some of them come out white, this one hasn't. So you need to be careful if you have darker hair like mine. If you just spray it onto your roots, it'll look like you've got talcum powder on there. And you have to shake it out. You can also get coloured ones of this, coloured versions of these, depending on your hair colour. Obviously test it out before, and don't wear a white shirt when you're spraying it, because you'll only do that once. Another point on the coloured sprays, just wants to have you for a second. Another thing with the coloured sprays, I've only ever seen it once, and I've heard about it before, but it's not been a common thing, but I need to share it with you just in case. If it's torrential raining, a lot of them aren't waterproof. Some are, a lot aren't. So you need to be careful if you're using like a dark brown or a dark black, that it could drip down your face, onto your collar. It's just a minefield. So if you are gonna wear it, pack an umbrella or taxi. Just saying, it's a warning from here. Maybe you've got away with it for so long, but I've seen it and I've heard about it more than once. And lastly, 6, the hairspray. The one that we all love. The one that we all know and love. Actually, I really don't like hairspray, it gets to the back of my throat. I use a non-aerosol hairspray usually, although this is a very good one. Hairspray is something we all know, we all use. It's optional, which is why it's number 6, because you can go up to number 5 and then completely cut this off, and you can do with anything. You can stop at 2 if you wanted to. Just shampoo, condition, leave. But that's fine, but if you want something easier to brush through, they have varying different effects. Some you can brush out, some you can't, some are like glue, some give a shine, some don't. Some are brushable, some you can't get a brush through. So try them out in your hair when you're practicing or when you're at home and you're not doing anything. Try out your hairspray, see what it does. Because the last thing you want is to be on a night out or to go to a wedding or to go to, we're talking a lot about weddings and brides. I suppose it's just because it's hair up. A night out, an event, whatever it is. The last thing you want is to spray this in and be like, oh, that's got glitter in it, or oh, that's got a shine to it, or it's too matte, it's not giving me this, or I can't get a brush through it, and then you'll feel a little bit uncomfortable throughout the night. So it's better to get used to your products when you just kind of sat around, watching Netflix, give something a try, give something a tongue, and then you can always wash it. With styling hair, you are only ever one shampoo away from being back to normal. So there's no worry about any of this. None of these are gonna damage your hair in any way. They might feel dry, they might feel tacky, but no product is gonna damage your hair in a one-off. So get used to it, play around, get that thing out of the cupboard. You don't have to buy new stuff. Get the new one out of the cupboard, get the old one out of the cupboard, give that a try one night. just for funsies. If you do that, please tag me in the photos below at CW Salisbury. I'd love to see some of the stuff you create with and you come up with, especially if they're old products that you bought ages ago, and if they're still in date, crack on. Sorry, huge segue there. Hairspray, that's what we were talking about. Hairsprays, great finish, great for hold. However, if you take one piece of advice from this today, hairsprays don't hold hair as well as a structure product. You can't put structure into hair with a hairspray. Hairsprays are for finishing, they're for the cherry on top. If you put your hair up with nothing in at all, and then expect the hairspray to hold it all night, it will probably fall out. Unless you're very lucky, it will probably fall out. I've seen it loads in the salon, people relying on hairspray and getting it a little bit too greasy, and again, it doesn't give you the finish that you want because you're having to use more than you need to, and then you get stressed out, the client gets stressed out, and if you're doing it at home, you'll get stressed out with yourself. So absolutely use hairspray, but don't expect too much of it. And with that point, I come to the reason why it's 1 to 6. You can stop at any step you want. You can shampoo and condition your hair, walk out the door. Fantastic. This is usually what happens with curl cream, is you go shampoo, conditioner, curl cream, leave the door. And you can go right up, and if you don't like hairspray, like I do not like the hairspray of, the feel of hairspray in my hair, and I don't like the way, so I would only ever go up to stage 5. What you can't do is skip a step. You cannot shampoo, skip conditioner, and then put your structure product on. It will give you it won't work well, and it will give you a bad finish. You won't be able to brush it through, and you won't have the nicest effect. You can't skip the structure product and then rely on hairspray, because your hair will fall down and it won't last the entire night. So you have to work 1 to 6. So it's really good practice to get into working at 1 to 6, not missing anything out and expecting it to work the same. To use the overused analogy, it's like building a house. It wouldn't work without a foundation, it wouldn't work without walls. You can't just rock up to a plot and put your TV and sofa in there, like your hairspray, which is your finishing touch. You need to build everything step by step, and then you'll get the greatest finish you can do. And that will hopefully give you some guidance. So when you're looking in your bathroom cabinet and there's products that you've collected over the years, or if you're looking at the hairdresser's shelf and you're thinking, do you know what, I might treat myself? Or you've been curling your hair and you're thinking, why isn't this holding? Could be the structure products, it could be that you're using a serum which is too heavy. There are literally infinite examples, but hopefully this has helped you out even a little bit. And with that, I say thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch the video on what shampoo to choose, click up at the top. If you want to see what hair type you have, and then you can get a better, more informed choice on your product choice, click down here. And please, as always, please subscribe using the CWS logo. Take care, guys. See you soon.